my channel and our kayaking adventures. If you watched the last video, kayaking on the Sebastian River, you might remember at the end of that video I had mentioned that my service engine soon light had come on. Well, the following day I was able to get the car into the shop and get the Xterra diagnosed. The vehicle was misfiring, and the technician found that the spark plugs and the coils needed to be replaced. After a few hours waiting in limbo, the repairs were done and we were ready to get back on the road and find a place to kayak. Since the car repairs took a big portion of the day, we decided to kayak local. We chose to paddle around Thousand Islands and Cocoa Beach. If you watched my video from Thousand Islands back in December, you might recall we launched from Ramp Road Park and mainly paddled the mangrove tunnels. This time, we would launch from Cocoa Beach Aquatic Center and explore some of the open water and the mangroves. We arrived at the launch location about 2 p.m. The temperature was 84 degrees Fahrenheit. There were plenty of clouds in the sky and a slight breeze. We had just had a typical Florida shower before leaving the house for this adventure, though the temperatures will not show that. As we paddled out toward the mangroves, we got lucky and found the manatee feasting on the mangrove leaves. If you look closely in the video, you'll see the manatee's head pop up out of the water as it reaches for food. There were several manatee around. Manatees are vegetarians. Their diet mostly consists of freshwater and saltwater marine plants. They consume about 10% of their body weight each day, which means they spend about 7 hours a day just eating.
You're too close.
You just want to... Oh, there's one right there.
That's what I said.
That was a rock.
It's a flipper there. That's what I said.
I thought it was a rock. Because it wasn't as dark gray as the other one.
No, it was moving.
If it does go next to us, I can put it on the surface like last time and I'd see it. They can't hear me.
Actually, they can. They got really good hearing.
It's a tail. How do I tell?
Back up.
The one that looks like a rock?
It's right behind you. Oh, there's two of them behind you. There's one over here, I heard. As the current kept pulling us closer and closer to the manatee, we decided it would be best to move on. We didn't really want to disturb the manatee too much while they were grazing. We did get a chance to see some manatee, and that in itself made this trip a success. We started paddling toward the mangrove tunnels, all the while looking at the mangroves, hoping to catch another glimpse of some more manatee, maybe even some curious playful manatee who would pay us a visit. While the manatee are not dangerous creatures, they are large and their flippers can easily knock you out of your kayak, which could make for a scary experience. As we entered the trails leading into the mangrove tunnels, the temperature felt like it had increased significantly. We didn't have the cooling light wind to refresh us. The air was very still. The mangroves are quite the experience to paddle through. It feels like you are miles away from civilization, when in fact, civilization is not too far off. If you look close enough at the mangrove branches, you might find a mangrove crab. While inside the mangrove tunnels, my batteries died. As I went to replace it, I almost lost my camera in the water. This was the same location that I had almost lost my camera in the winter video. After changing the batteries, we continued onward through the tunnels. After leaving the mangrove tunnels, it was nice to have some fresh air blowing on us. Inside the tunnels, it was a little too warm. As we headed back toward the lunch site, we had one more destination to hit. That was a small housing area that we like to check out and take a look at the houses. Occasionally, a manatee will be hanging out in that area. But before we got there, we found a manatee's tail up in the air. This wasn't a very active manatee, so we moved on. And as we got closer to the houses, the fish were active. You could see the movement in the water. I'm not sure what was keeping the fish so active at the top of the water, but some of the birds took advantage of this and dove down on them. It was quite the sight. As our kayak adventure had come to an end for the day, we had another great time. The day may have started out bad by having to sit in the waiting room while getting the car worked on, but getting out on the water, finding some manatee, paddling the mangrove tunnels, and laughing with family made the day much better. As our vacation is slowly coming to an end, we still had 2 more days filled with great adventures, and those videos will soon follow. So join Team Kayak 7 Seas by hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, click that like button. Check out some of our past videos for some awesome places to kayak. Hope to see you out on the water someday.